Perfect. So today we're going to do a purpose and design of a budget. We're going to go over that. We're going to talk about the building the foundation. Then we're going to go through how to build a budget, forecasting increases, all the way how depreciation reports work. And then we're going to finalize the budget, educate homeowners, and pass the budget. So we're going to walk through. We're going to start on step one and go through. We've got some really interesting information. We've gone out to the market and we've asked about 2019 and get their crystal ball out. And so we're going to give you what predictions are for costs going forward. And Dylan is the subject matter expert. He is 600 budgets. Is that what James said?
Yeah, about 600 budgets.
600 budgets. So there's a lot of he's got a lot of budgeting experience. You probably know each one personally.
Each
right?
one.
That's right. Okay, next slide. Purpose and design. This is Dylan's quote. He felt it was exciting. Few businesses plan to fail, but many of those that fail to plan. Deep, Dylan. Very deep. Okay, so why does the STRATA Corporation have a budget? 91 of the Act says the STRATA Corporation is responsible for common expenses of the STRATA Corporation. So STRATA is responsible for the common area and all the common expenses. 92 of the Act says STRATA has to create a operating fund. And so that's your fund from the day-to-day ongoing maintenance. And then you also have to create a contingency reserve fund, which is your reserve, which we're going to discuss a little more in detail on when it can be used and what its purpose for, because sometimes it's misunderstood. And so we're going to clarify when and what you can use it for. Let's keep going, Jason. Purpose and design of a budget. Routine expenditures. So the operating, sometimes we see STRATA corporations put in capital projects in their budget. So to give you an example is, you're going to replace the carpet, right? You're going to replace the carpet in a STRATA corporation. Is that something you do every year? No. So it's not really an operating expense, so it really shouldn't go in the operating budgets. Are you going to go to jail if it does? No, probably not. But the intention of the operating budget is that you're going to have those costs you're going to have every year included in it. And costs like the carpet replacement are going to come from the contingency reserve if it's fully funded, or if not, it's going to come from a levy or maybe a blend of the two. And so all the costs we're going to talk about tonight are all operating costs when we talk about the budget and budget expenses. Non-routine expenditures, so that would be that carpet replacement, that would be that roof replacement, that would be if you're going to tear down a fence and put up a new fence. Anything large like that, that should come from that CRF or a levy. And then the purpose of the budget is you have to determine the strata fees. So we have to know what to charge each homeowner and what the homeowner will contribute on. And then the real purpose of the budget is then you can control and monitor your spending as you go forward. And Dylan's going to touch on what that looks like and what the controls are that are in place. So, first thing we got to do is we have to build that foundation of the budget, which is the budget's built off of. And I'm going to turn over to Dylan, who's going to talk about that.
Yeah, so the first step before we get into the budget is really to gather, think of it as all the building blocks of the budget itself. So the first one is having year-end financial statements. Year-end financial statements is preferable. What I mean by year-end is a complete 12-month period. So as opposed to the second line, you can still start preparing your budget if you have, say, 11 months of actuals, financial statements at the 11th month mark. But what that means is you'll have to start making projections now. So that's still completely fine, but now you're starting to work with estimates. So while you still can do it, it's kind of best practice where possible to work with year-end numbers, the full 12-month period, better for forecasting. Another important consideration is the timing of any audit. So if you don't know what an audit is, that is a third-party independent verification that the financial statement package is correct and accurate. When I say consider the timing, every once in a while I'll see a STRATA corporation that undergoes an audit for that year, but the audit is finalized, say, 6 or 7 months subsequent to year end and subsequent to the preparation of the budget. Now it's okay because the intent is really peace of mind from an owner perspective, but it'd be nice to have that audit finalized by the year-end financial statement so that you're working with audited numbers in the package. And I'd say generally speaking, I'd say the cost of an audit, just if anyone's wondering, I've seen it range from $2,500 to $12.5K. It really just depends on the scope and nature of the engagement.
Hey, Dylan, how many STRATA corporations on average, just a ballpark figure, have an audit done on their financials?
I'd say probably 30-35% of the clients have an audit, but keep in mind it's not every single year necessarily. So some STRATA corps maybe every 2 to 3 years they'll have an audit and
It's
incur
kind
that
of
cost.
like a check to make sure that everything's on track.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just another, it's really kind of independent verification and a nice feel good from an owner perspective. Yeah.